Happy Monday to people who are snowed in and those who are not. I am really snowed in. No school for my child. There's a foot of snow on the ground. I don't
That's
even know
crazy.
if I could walk to the bodega. It's not that cold, but there's just so much snow everywhere. It's freaking nuts.
Yeah, we had a little bit of snow and then it's literally deleted itself over here in Maryland. So this is very interesting that you guys have that much snow. But you guys were in the purple zone. I was watching the Weather Channel.
Oh,
I saw
this is
everything.
one of the biggest snowstorms in New York of easy the past decade. One of the biggest, for sure.
What's the
Crazy.
biggest you've been in over there?
I mean, I don't freaking know. I don't really catalog it. I remember it being in the blizzard of '78 in Boston when I was fucking 7 years old, and it was
Well,
6
I'm thinking
foot
about New York
mounds
since
of
you've been in New York because I never
snow,
seen
and
that.
like, it was crazy. It looked like some shit from the second Star Wars movie, Empire Strikes Back, like when they
Yeah.
had like the robotic elephants and shit. Like, oh my god, it's frozen, snowy tundra. You know, I don't know. It's
It's
not
all
that
here.
cold though. That's the
That's the
crazy
best
thing.
part. If it's not cold, because I'm a little under the weather and I had a jacket on and a sweater out on the house and the house was warm. It's like I'm freezing just because I'm a little sick. So I hate when it's cold. I hate the cold, hate when it's cold. Don't like when people say the word cold. That's me. Ice cold crazy. But let's get into the
So
let's get into the
random.
day. Let's see what we're talking about today. I wake up today to see some of the wildest things, the headline. I'm looking at Michael B. Jordan and
Yeah,
Delroy
Linda
announce an award
at the
and
BAFTA, the British Oscars,
the British
basically.
Oscars, basically, yeah. And then I hear, and it says man with Tourette's says the N word while Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo
Yeah,
at the podium. And I'm like, what?
yeah.
It's like, how does this even happen? Like, I don't like what's actually going on? Like, how does this occur? And then I find out that he's even an actor and they made a movie kind of like about him, and the actor won that award and actually beat out Michael B. Jordan on there, and he has Tourette's and a certain form of Tourette's too, where you actually blurt out words and all that. And beyond that, and his disability and all that is plain and simple. Why was that heard? Like,
Yeah,
why was it heard? That's like
yeah,
my first thing.
that's a big thing for me is that, the BAFTAs are on a 2-hour delay. You could
That's a lot.
totally cut that out, and there are other things that were shouted that were cut out, and why there wasn't a clear conversation within the team of like, "Well, obviously, we should cut that out."
Because they don't care.
Um
That's just what it is. They don't care. They let that slide because it means nothing to them. They don't understand the gravity of the whole situation. And when I've seen it and I'm looking at it, I'm like, this is getting two prestigious actors, people who are in their moment, getting
Yeah,
called the N word
yeah,
because we're in the first few moments
yeah.
of our life. I'm not gonna say it.
Yeah, yeah,
Getting
yeah.
called the N word globally, plastered everywhere. That's humiliating. Delroy left.
Yeah.
That's humiliating, and that lives forever. That's
And
not something that people should see.
BAFTA didn't really move to focus on their feelings
They didn't
and
apologize to them at all.
make sure that they were cool, right? Like Alan Cumming, the host, great actor, made sure to note, the person has Tourette's. We're sorry about that. But it's not really giving enough gravity to the pain that, Michael and Delroy are going through in that moment of having to deal with that, in front of a, you know, global audience, their peers in the room, global audience watching, like, you know, it's it's really uncalled for. It's very sad.
It's just yeah. I just think everything around is BS, and it's like, what do we feel like? I don't like going into like what Tourette's is and what type of Tourette's. People are going so into the minutia of that specifically, but we know that if somebody's any human being is doing something that can offend other human beings, that should be taken care of and be considered beforehand. Even if people need to
What do
be
you
made aware, even if they need to not be in a certain space, if it doesn't matter who it is, if you have the potential to offend other people for whatever it is, we have to consider that and understand what the room is, and understand that what's actually
I
happened.
mean,
That's one thing.
eh, eh.
And that's a thing because it's like if the same way it's like
I mean, there's no analogy because there's no word that is equal to that word, right? And
well,
nobody
I'm not
needs
talking
an
about the
analogy for
word.
that.
I'm talking about this like the someone having a disability and if or anything that you have going on because I don't want to even make it about disability anything that you have going on that's who you are if it could actually negatively affect somebody else in a communal space that needs to be thought about by the people who are putting it on
I mean,
yourself and other people.
I mean, I don't like the idea of barring people with Tourette's or with a certain disability from being in public spaces. I'm not going to be comfortable with that. I mean, like that.
I don't think that's
That's a
exactly what I'm saying though, personally.
Well, I'm not sure how to deal with it. Like this person with Tourette's knows what he's dealing with, and he is, dealing with it the best way that he can. Obviously this is unacceptable, but like
There's
it's
plenty
also
of
not his
places he
fault.
doesn't probably go
Like, I
or
don't
he's
know what we as a society, I mean, like you and I focus already in this conversation on BAFTA should not have aired that, right? They should have cut that moment out. The BAFTA organization should have made much more of a play or a focus on apologizing to Delroy and Michael, lifting them back up after their moment of humiliation, rather than sort of rushing to explain why this was uttered by this person who has a problem. You and I have touched on all of that, right? That stipulated, I'm not sure what you can do as far as like you say this person with Tourette's can't be in a room like that.
the simplest thing that the person can do too is a I think you could apologize.
I don't know that he hasn't. The person with Tourette's,
Yeah.
I don't know that he
I
hasn't
think be
apologized.
like explain, put it was like, oh, sorry, this is what it is. Blah, blah. It's like as if I have a
I mean, the medical part of it to me is not the central part. It's the broadcasting failure. We didn't have to know that that
I
happened.
think it's apology and broadcasting failure. That's what I'm saying.
I mean,
Both
I think
all
the
the
guy
BAFTA
with
has to
Tourette's has
apologize.
apologized, but the BAFTAs, I am baffled, and I want to hear from them why you felt the need to include that. Why you felt constrained to not cut out that 10 or 15 or 30-second bit. I mean, like
They
it's
want
it's
people
not
to
a
know
live
about that.
broadcast. It doesn't have to air.
In this day and age, it's hard for me to like not feel like people let things happen because they know it'll cause controversy and bring eyes to the a moment into their space. How much negative press that they're getting, it's still press that they would never even believe to get.
Yeah,
People don't even know what the BAFTAs are.
I don't think the BAFTAs think like that
I
or
don't think it's
need
a
that, and I don't think that they're talking about, we're gonna let these people be embarrassed for us to get. Like, I don't think that's the calculus for them at all. Like, I don't think they're looking at it like that. And I'm not saying they're super moralistic and just or whatever, but like I don't think I think they would fully understand the problem of like standing on these people to gain like I don't think the BAFTAs, are operating like that. Um
I don't know if it's like I'm not saying it's a BAFTA ploy to get the N word, this humiliation
No. But
ritual,
once it happens, why isn't it clear for the director to say,
just to edit it.
obviously we're cutting that out? Like why isn't the executive producer? Obviously we're cutting that out. Like that doesn't
They
even
cut
need to
out
be
other shit.
said.
So
Like it's that's the breakdown to me, and that's the part where I say, okay, you guys have done a supreme wrong to, millions of people in not taking that step. Um, that's the part that I see as like the changeable part that could have made the whole situation better. I don't know how much more could have been done with the person with the disability, especially on a night, because part of the thing is, like, as you pointed out, they made a movie about him, and that movie was being celebrated and honored
yeah,
that night. So when you have that sort of confluence, that sort of person is going to be sitting relatively close, right? In any
yeah.
other
I'm not
year,
talking about barring someone with a disability from attending a place. I'm saying the same way that you will have ramps for someone who is in a wheelchair, and everybody understands and sees the ramp. We see collectively understand that this is what this place is for
yeah.
this person. It should be the same thing for.
What
Here's what
would
I
be
mean by that. Here's what I mean by that. People being aware. I think it's easy to make people be aware. I think that's an easy little announcement for people to be aware. That's one.
there's a
Two.
person with Tourette's here?
No, no,
You
no,
want
no,
to
no.
announce it over the loudspeaker?
Not announcement for the audience. I'm talking about announcement for the people who are editing everything like that. You know that this person might be yelling things out,
Oh,
so we can edit
the
it out.
people in the control room.
Yes, so people to be
They know,
aware.
but once he shouts that out, they know. They were not confused by what happened. This event was part of this event
No, but
was
then you could
honoring
but
that
I'm saying
movie.
we
They
could hold them
know.
even more accountable because those things are happening. Because right now it's a scramble of, oh, we didn't know, and this is what he does,
I
and then there's a 2-hour delay, and we're making the judgment off a 2-hour delay, but that should have been in there already. You should already
Of
know that's
course.
possible.
Of course.
So that,
I think they know. I'm not sure what
and I
you're
don't think
angling
it's
for.
wrong for someone. It's not a justification. It's not making up someone. I don't think it's making someone with a disability having to justify their disability for them saying, "I'm sorry if you were offended by anything."
I'm sorry. I haven't read every scrap, but I don't think that this person hasn't failed to apologize.
That's what I saw. That's what I saw.
I'm almost certain that he is probably very, apologetic that this happened, and like it's not my fault, and like I really don't want to do that. I don't want to be stuck in this disease, and like, this is
And it's
one
not a
of the
focus on. I'm not focusing on him. On him. I just said that should be something that's an awareness, and like you said, the broadcast of that visual just should not have been able to been out there. That's
yes,
the number one thing.
yes,
We
no,
would not, if it was
100%.
something, if we just heard this story, we would be able to
That
wrap
would
our
be different.
mind around it
That'd be different.
more.
It would be
But
better. It would
you
be
guys
much.
blasted the visual out, and that's the
I
actual
you,
problem. So I want to put out that I'm not blaming someone with a disability because
you
I don't understand or know to
you
the degree
wonder
that
if
he
that
does.
goes into the thinking of the people behind it of like, well, if we showed them what actually happened, that is better than having them come to 100,000 different percent. Because once the world starts talking about it, this happened at the BAFTAs, then there would be a call to show it, and somebody would have to have some backbone to say, no, we're not showing that, which you usually don't have, and eventually the group capitulates and they put out the clip of like, this is the moment that everyone's asking to see.
That's still a wild word to just be saying.
I'm
Let's
just
be
I'm
honest.
just I'm just trying to think. I'm not excusing them. That is the main part of blame for me. I'm just trying to think from a television production standpoint why they didn't immediately leap to, of course we cut that out. But then
I do agree that that's the main part of the blame because I shouldn't see that. I shouldn't be looking at like icons, heroes, people I respect, and seeing them humiliated like that as a black man. I shouldn't see that. You offended me. You not only offended them, now you blasted it everywhere, so everybody to feel a certain way about it. Like, we can't even announce an award in your damn country. Like, it makes you feel a certain way that people have to, I think, respect. Whereas people are coddling it a little bit too much for me in that sense, where it's like BAFTA, you like, that needs to be addressed, and it is their fault. They are the number one people that should be targeted.
Now,
All anger should be targeted towards them.
yes, stipulated. Also, Ryan Coogler won a BAFTA for Best Original Screenplay. First time a black man won that award at the BAFTAs. And they got one other. What was the
Racist
other?
award now.
They got one other BAFTA last night.
Who? Sinners?
Yeah.
Did they get did they get best movie, cinemas, best anything like that?
No, supporting actress, I think.
Oh, okay. What, did Delroy win? Oh no, he
Supporting
left.
Actress.
Actress. Oh, okay.
Won for best. Oh, one. This is best supporting actor, but she won. I believe she won for best supporting actress, unless I'm reading this wrong.
Someone said that we are being politically correct, and I want to address that. I'm not being politically correct. I think we're addressing the people who could actually stop the issue, which is the BAFTA and the
yes.
That's what actually stop it. So what am I going to do and try to figure out if somebody is racist or not? That has nothing to do with me. There's probably 10,000 people that say that word in that building. So what, or have said racial slurs in their lives, or did something worse. Only thing we can do is address the people who could actually have stopped this from happening.
Yes, the institution behind the whole thing, the media controlling the whole thing, could have made a different decision and changed today entirely.
Changed the entire day for all of us. We wouldn't be talking about this. We'd be talking about Baby Keith.
I have talked a lot about how I don't appreciate how Kanye is trying to hide behind mental illness as an excuse for his anti-Semitism and his anti-Black racism, right? And in talking about that, a lot of people say, hey, mental illness does not make you racist, right? It does. It lowers your filter, but you're going to say what you really believe. The Tourette's example, I think, is slightly different. I don't think, and I'm not a neuroscientist, so I've seen a little bit about this, but I'm far from an expert. But I'm not certain that this proves that this person is racist and that they were sitting there wanting to say the N-word, but everybody else is, because they're hetero, they're what is the word for not for I forgot the word for if you are not neurodivergent, you are,
I don't know that word.
I don't think it's neuronormative, but if you're not neurodivergent, you're sitting there with your filter in place, wanting to say the N-word, and you just don't, and you just control yourself. I don't think that's the way that this is all happening. And this guy is like, he's actually racist, but he has Tourette's, and he says, I don't think that's the way Tourette's works on the brain. And
there's multiple ways Tourette's works too, and actually blurting out words is also a specific version of it, because a lot of it's tics, right? Some people just have different versions and types of tics, and his is a very complex and specific one for you to be like saying these random words in a way. And like you said, there's no study that we could pull up to be like why this is being
the position we're in, we want to think about the impact and the hurt and the people who feel and are the most victimized in this moment. It's hard to go after this other person because there's all the person who said it, because there's all this medical stuff in the way, but the word goes into the air. Our boys Michael and Delroy are hurt and embarrassed. Ryan and the whole Sinners crew feels it as well. BAFTA decides to air it or allows it to air for whatever reason. All of that, we can know. right? And we can talk about, right? And we can understand the medical, neurological part that leads to this happening and like what that really says about this guy. Like, I don't know. I don't know. But,
It also
we
just
are trying
doesn't
to
matter.
focus
And
on the
it's not.
part that we understand.
Yeah, it's number one thing is it's not our job to know. That's not our job to know. Our job is to our anger or our frustration needs to be at why this should not have been out and why this should not have happened.
Why the
That's
clip
what's
and the
important.
video should not have been out. That's the thing to us.
This
So
shouldn't have happened. And
let's talk about another
let's move
crazy
on.
video that everyone's talking about. Jimmy Jones kicking the door of the studio when he
Waving the
owed
faux
like $80,000 or some shit and back. The landlord was like, it could be 80, it could be 180. I haven't
180.
done the full accounting. I don't know how the landlord is like, it could be this, it could be that. I don't know. You should know. You're the landlord, and that's your job. But like,
I think he's saying that because to full from what all the information I got, he was supposed to be 50-50 owner of the podcast as well from his perspective or for what he said the contract was. So he's saying that it could be 180 because I don't know what they're earning, what sponsorships they're getting from the podcast. So it could be that, but I know he owed me 80 in back. Like he's supposed to give me 80 grand. So that's what he was saying. And then supposedly, which I've heard different ways, but it's 50 Cent. Supposedly 50 Cent bought the thing and got this man out of there.
No, this is economic trolling. And I actually think this is a really funny sort of modern way of trolling. To buy part ownership of the building that you do your podcast in and basically kick you out of your podcast space. Like, it's a whole like boss capitalist economic sort of financial humiliation, economic trolling sort of thing that reminds me of 50 like buying up the front 6 rows of Ja Rule's concert. And like,
yeah, supposedly you did that.
Because I don't care to spend
Look,
all this money to make you look stupid. I don't care.
Beefing with 50 is wild. Did you see the recent thing? The recent thing is him and T.I. Did you see what happened with that? So
that's real
obviously nice. 50 could cross a line, and he doesn't care to cross a line. And beefing with 50, I don't understand why anybody actually goes at 50 Cent. I don't know why. It's just be like, yo, just let 50 have. Let 50.
I mean, at this point, he's not even. I mean, nobody's going at him now. He's not a contemporary rapper, really. I mean, he's
no. Did he not culturally?
Did he not start with T.I.?
T.I. said that they should do a versus, which shouldn't be a negative thing, and you shouldn't be coming back crazy.
Thing. I'm inviting you to do a project with me. Like
I don't know if there's a project with you, but whatever. He said he invited us to do versus 50 Cent posts.
No, I mean, but a versus is a project. We're going to do a television show together. Like, I'm inviting you to work with me on something. That's like a good thing.
So, but there still could be animosity, and y'all can't be cool. There's been verses with two people who are not cool happened like 3 times already. So you could be not cool and do a versus. So it's not a. And people have been disrespectful during verses and before verses. That happens because these, people have history or otherwise, or egos in other verses that happen. So he puts it out there. 50 Cent posts something about T.I., which wasn't cool to T.I. T.I. posts something back, and then it gets all the way to where you're posting his wife. I'm like, I'm bowing out. I ain't about to communicate at this level, but now it's like at the disrespectful space if you posted somebody's wife.
Yeah, I'm saying if he's
and somebody's mother.
Yeah, if he's talking about your wife, like, what are you gonna do? You can't back out when he's talking about your wife.
You can't back. Oh no, I'm saying I'm talking about me right now as Green. I ain't finna talk about shit. I ain't finna be talking about this shit with 50 Cent out here running crazy.
50 Cent don't
I'm
care
not
about you.
that Nick. Like I said, you almost got me. You almost got me.
I really don't understand. I mean, out of the two of
You
us,
almost
50
got
Cent
me.
definitely dislikes me more than you. But like
Oh no, it's not. It's not about dislike. It's yeah. But either way, let's go to this.
I don't
It's
understand what
about
you're saying.
it's about the fact. I'm just joking. We're moving on. I'm just joking. It's about the
Where
fact that
are
yes,
you
it's not a
about? We haven't even done the subject.
We're in the subject. I said I was just joking that I'm not going to talk shit about 50 Cent. That's just a joke. But what I'm really getting at to, what I'm trying to get at is like when Ti, when you're in that space and someone's talking about your wife, but what are you supposed to do? You're a grown man. You're a celebrity. Like what exactly are you supposed to do? You just say some tough shit, or you play the game that he's playing? Because that's the thing that 50 Cent understands and plays. He's just like, you're either going to try to go the tough route, which doesn't really make sense at our level or in our space, or we're trolling back and forth. And I have the more resources and I don't have any guardrails. So it's like, what do you do? Unless you feel like you also have no guardrails and you have the capacity to troll at that level, is this going to be some tough shit or is it going to be some troll shit?
It's an interesting way of putting it because Ti really is from that life, just like 50 is. So, if he wants to say, if you want to go there, we can go there. And like Ti would actually mean it. And I'm
Yeah,
not saying that he should, but like, he actually
he
comes from
should.
that. I'm sure that, other New York rappers, may have been around it, but weren't really about it. Ti was about it. But more than that, you generally don't want to beef with comedians because comedians will eat your shit up and the audience will be laughing. And now you look like a fool, right? And we might start to see here, like, how much of a comedian is Ti because he's moving into the stand up chapter of his career. So is he really like
Oh no, but
fly
he's
with
got an
it?
album and he dropped a little battle snippet, I think, that he was gonna drop on 50. And he's got an album coming.
Like somebody, I forget who it was. Somebody chirped at Damon Wayans a little while ago. Damon Wayans is not top 10 stand-up comedians. He's not top 10 black male stand-up comedians. Whatever state he lives in, he's not top 10 stand-up comedians in that state. But he said,
Disrespectful.
huh? What?
Disrespectful. We don't know where he lives. That's just he he could be in Kansas. Damn, that's
He might
crazy.
live in Utah, maybe, but he probably. Hey, look, if he lives in California, where I think he lives, he's not top 20. But here's the point: even that, he jumped on some radio show and said, "Da-da-da-da-da-da," and I don't really think he's all that funny. But he had me dying, and I was like, "Money, you don't want to respond to him because he will eat." Comics live for that shit much. Then they are much more in sort of like sharp sword ready for battle mode more than a rapper because they're seeing it all the time, right? Not even from other comics, from people in the audience that they have to battle. You don't want to battle a comic at all.
Yeah.
So Ti might have some funny fly slick shit to say because there's plenty that can be said. 50 does not want somebody to make a documentary about the life of 50 Cent. That would not look good for him. And now
That's
he's
the
like,
trolling part. That's
he's
that's the only
begging
route
for,
you could take.
well, sure, you could do that. You could fucking, Ti more than anybody could say some slick shit that makes him look like a fool. And we respect Ti. Ti has a national platinum name. Jim Jones
Mm-hmm.
did not, right? Jim Jones is a big, he's big as a regional artist. Ti is a national artist. He's a legend, right? Like he is an icon. So he could
Yeah.
say some fly shit back to 50. And I mean, like his first response was, "Don't wake up the bear." So he's like letting you know, like, don't come over here. And I'm not gonna like just be all rah just because you said some slick shit on the internet. Like, but like you keep talking, and it's we could go there.
I think that's the thought process, definitely, but by Ti. And I saw maybe clips of Ti stand up. Not my personal taste, but Ti as an individual is pretty funny from just seeing interviews, his own podcast, as well as he's clever. He's got bars. He's Ti. He's, like you said, a legend, an icon, a lyricist. And 50 Cent, we know he's a comedian. He's a different type of comedian. He makes people laugh online and trolls people and goes in different spaces. So there's a bunch of people who think 50 Cent is hilarious.
50 is funny for sure, right? What he did to Jim Jones is definitely funny, right? T.I. is a comedian. It's different, right? It's different.
What I'm trying to say is different, but the court of public opinion is kind of what's going on. And for some reason, for some odd reason, 50 Cent is like bulletproof with a public opinion. Everyone just says, oh, that's 50. He says the craziest shit and does the wildest shit. And we're all just like, that's 50. And we all are like, because he said it himself, where he's owned this space on his like Instagram page where people know it's wild, like it's the Shade Room or something like that. And then he puts on a suit, goes to the boardroom, gets business done, and people separate those things and be like, oh, he's just being a rapper. And he's successfully separated his identities, which not a lot of artists can do, where he's like business 50 and troll 50.
He's definitely Trump-ish as far as this big troll who says and does wild, often inappropriate shit to other people. And a lot of the hip hop community is like, that's just 50. That's just what he does.
It's just 50 being 50.
You know what I mean? Trump could fucking, stand on top of the White House and say, all you black MAGA are N-words. And they'd be like, you liberals keep calling him racist. Silly liberals. Like, really? And like, there's no, obviously with Trump, like the presidency, you should be a decent human being, or at least strive to be. And he clearly doesn't and isn't. And as a famous rich rapper, you don't need to be trying to be a good person. That's not at all what we're talking
when
about.
A lot of your fans are casual white fans across the globe.
Come on.
Casual white fans across the globe. Like we're talking about, they rock with 50 hard in Romania, nigga. That's they shit. Like they rocking with him hard over there. So you don't have to think about things in the same way that T.I. thinks about that.
I just want to note that 50 Cent, as far as I know, does not have an album coming out anytime soon. I don't think we should look at him as a contemporary recording artist anymore. At best, he is a legacy artist. He could go on tour if he wanted to.
He's one of the biggest touring artists.
Great. Out. That's a legacy artist, right? Who's like focusing on the touring and not on the recording. He could drop an album. I don't think he's interested in doing that. So
doesn't make him any money.
The trolling is for fun, because quite often people are doing these sorts of trolling things to get attention for their music. Like, like Kanye seems to like have an anti-Semitic flip out like right before he releases an album the last 6-7 years, right? Like, so you do something to create the circus of, oh my God, look at this person. Eminem used to, attack some pop star like right before the album would come out. So like we're getting into album mode. We're getting you set to like pay attention to me again. 50's just doing it for fun. He's not promoting anything.
It's a level of publicity though. Like,
but he doesn't need the publicity for what?
I think to a larger extent you do. But let's move on to Baby Keem, because the people their comments are asking us, and we gotta talk about Baby Keem. We gotta talk about it. I need to know where your OG hip hop opinion is, and I definitely have mine. But I want to see
your opinion.
You want to hear mine first?
Sure. Let's hear your opinion.
I enjoyed it. This is my favorite Baby Keem project. I wasn't a big fan of Melodic Blue. This one, I see where he's going. I'm in the same space where I was with Tyler Creator earlier. on, where I'm like, I recognize the exceptional gifts and talents he has right now, where I'm like, he's gonna make like an out of the park classic in his full on catalog. And when I'm talking about those like staple moments in the genre and music in general. He has the ability to do that because I think he's a very talented songwriter. Number one, the things that I appreciate about the album, and I'm gonna go through the whole thing, is like I'm an energy person, so I like energetic, punk, rebellious, trap, crunk, anything that was energetic ever in music. I'm a fan of, right? So when that second track comes on, it's hitting hard and it makes sense to me, and I know what this is going to do in a live atmosphere. He's about to go on tour. I might go because I know what that song's gonna do, and I know what Family Ties is gonna do, and then I'm good. I want to see a whole bunch of kids jumping, and I'm gonna sit there like, yes, this is great, and then I'm gonna get the hell out of there. It's like, because that I know that's what I used. I'm the rapper that used to jump into the crowd and do mosh pit shit. So that part I enjoy. He doesn't care about genre and aesthetic, and he doesn't care about genre, just like most young people don't care about genre. It's just the aesthetics of it all, right? And that's what I also like, where some people are like hearing this and that and the genre changes, it's jarring for people, where that's not jarring for me because I grew up listening to so many different types of music. So I completely enjoy the mix and sounds, even though this was way more focused than Melodic Blue for me. And I like the jumps. It trails off at the end for me in song quality and songs that I like, but and as far as I'm not a lyricist, that song where he's proclaiming that he's not a lyricist while using rhetorical devices and trying to give you guys a point of saying that I'm trying to show you depth. I'm not trying to push out this idea that I'm just technicalities. I am trying to show you depth. I appreciate the point of that record because he's being a lyricist while saying he's not a lyricist, right? Now, from the flaws of it from the album for me is that I feel like it's still no. I also like just the story and him telling him about himself, and it's just real emotional. That's what I do appreciate that. The level of cohesiveness of the album in concept is what's lacking for me, especially coming from like the space he comes from. Like when you hear him, you're gonna hear the phonetics and sonics of Kendrick Lamar. So you're gonna be like, oh, I'm thinking of him like Kendrick Lamar, but you gotta let him be his own person. But at the same time, it's like this is not as cohesive as great albums are. Like, doesn't matter who it is, Kendrick Lamar, Tyler, Creator, Prince, Michael Jackson, a great album has a cohesion. And so it's not as cohesive for me. But as far as having slaps and me enjoying the personality of it all, great album. I enjoyed it. Your point of view. And it also bridges it very much bridges the OG hip hop lyricists, millennials specific. That's Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, Drake, those guys at that top, the top of the music. We're talking about hits with the new age. Lil Uzi, Playboy Cardi, Lil Yachty.
We talking about hits or not? We just did a video. There's no big three. We talk about quality. We talk about hits. J. Cole don't have hits.
I'm not talking about quality. I'm talking about what changed music. I'm talking about things that changed music. J. Cole, Drake, and Kendrick, and blog era artists, Kid Cudi, Wale, they changed music. So I'm just talking about that. That's just a fact. Like I don't have to like literally change music.
This chick Felicia said 50 is a Caucasian person's rapper. He makes them feel like they are close to danger. 50 is a sellout.
Right.
So
give your thoughts.
Yeah, it's a no for me, dog. A Casino was a great sort of starting point, and I was like, okay, energy, attack, like I'm digging this. Okay, we're doing lyrics, okay. And then suddenly it became singing all about love and sex. And there was song after song about love or sex. And I'm like, what are we doing? I'm not really interested in any of these hooks. I'm not really interested in any of these bars. And we keep talking about love and sex, and I'm like, where are we? What are we doing? And nothing was really grabbing me. It kind of picked up a little bit toward the
You don't like
end
love
when we,
or sex. You can't relate.
no, I love those things. I don't love the songs that are about those things on this
You didn't
album,
like
but
Good Flirt with him and Kendrick.
in general, those things are great most of the time. But this one, I did not feel it. I toward the end, I think one or two of the last song, one or two of the last few songs went away from that, and I was like, okay, we're back up. But I was already sort of like drained from like, oh, there's like so many misses and like nothing that like knocked me out. Like, oh, I have to me. Part of a successful album is there's at least one song that I have to listen to over and over, to where I actually haven't gotten to song number 8 because I keep going back on number 4, number 3, whatever, over and over. And I've listened to it 20 times in a row, whatever. And there's certainly nothing that made me say, oh, I got to go back and listen to that again and again. So yeah, I was like, y'all like this? And I mean, I thought there would be much more noise on the socials about this. I see very, very few people talking about this, breaking it down, jumping up for joy. I don't know. I wanted to.
I
I
think
was rooting for him. We were all rooting for you. We were all rooting for you.
what is this? The end of Star Wars? We were, but nah, I could see where maybe where you're coming from, but a lot of it too, I think, stems from like he's making songs about love, relationships, sex, and all that from a perspective of a 20-year, a 20 something, right? That happens a lot, and I don't rock with these niggas when they talk because I'm not in your space. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not in that mental space to like relate to it. And then if the song is because you still say some shit that I don't agree with conceptually about anything, but if the song slaps, we could all still like it, right? So it's not just the content that might throw you off.
Correct.
But then in the
Right.
music, I think is also trying to do different things that is more what's in tune with the youth is probably doing musically that I feel like a lot of times it just doesn't hit for
I
the
mean, I feel.
general older or general audience.
I mean, and I wasn't like team is doing a bad job. I'm like, this is not coming together for me.
Mm.
Kendrick is on here twice, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, like, I liked his joints, and I was like, we could do little shows breaking down his verses. But I'm not sure if there's some Keem verse that you feel like a need to break down out of this. I don't know.
All raps can be breaking down, and I
No, I
hate when
mean,
we do that. But
you could do it to anything, but certain things you're like,
it's some
oh,
no certain things you talk about being interested. I'd be interested in telling people what's happening on I'm Not a Lyricist, why I think it works and why I think it doesn't work. Because a lot of people are like catching that song in different ways. I think that is a great song to talk about. Um, the rest of it, if he's telling a narrative and how he feels about where he comes from, if he's talking about his relationship with his family, there's lines in and out of the whole thing get expressing what it was to be Baby Keem in Vegas, what it was to have a mother battling addiction and all that. Those lines, if you're dealing with that, that hits you different. That can
somebody
hit you
said
different.
somebody said you can tell Keem actually likes women. Um, which is
I
interesting because we
understand that.
we talk about that as far as men love women, like women that are attractive to them, but do they like women in general? Most men no. And if I believe that was a woman saying, she's picking up that it seems that Keem really likes women in the way that he talks about them. Um, sit down, furry. Ain't nobody asking for all that. I I didn't say anything about anybody but me. I didn't say old people will feel blah 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 blah. Ain't nobody need all that. You just take your Gen X ass and calm down. Fuck, Jesus Christ. What do you think about that idea? That Megan,
Oh
Mercurial
no, I
Megan
love
is
that
now.
statement. I Good flirt to me is literally that. And even having Momo on there, I love her voice. I love her presence on there. She's giving me like, what's my girl? Is that Tracy Chapman?
Yes.
She's giving me that mixed with like Donna Summer. Don't ask me why. I put those two together. I get her voice. Now, I like that song. I like it a lot. And I think what her perspective is how I feel about it. He's not talking about it from um I just fucked your bitch in some Gucci flip-flops perspective. It's not about what's up, little bitch? I got that little bitch. It's like I actually care for this person, or I care and I want them to actually love me. This is about an actual romance. Can I deal with this type of romance? Here's the women that raised me. It's 100% that it feels like he actually likes women.
Um. Okay. Wow. I'm getting so much hate. This is so fun. I'm so glad
Isn't
you
that
showed me
usual
where
for you? You get
I.
hate. I like
I don't
being next
usually.
to you
I'm not
because you
usually
make me
reading
look good.
I don't usually read the comments during the show.
Say it again.
I don't usually read the comments during the show. So I'm
So you
traveling
get
along like, okay, this is going fine. Not like everyone's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? This one nigga said, I'm glad Torre hated it, to be honest. Okay, fine. This is
This man
Torre
said, I
explain.
just respected women in some Gucci flip-flops. That's literally it. That's basically Keith's perspective. It's like, I just respect the women in some Gucci flip-flops. But
Wait, this nigga said explain when music started having to be in an order that people call for. It doesn't have to be in a storytelling order if you choose not to. Okay.
I don't know why he said that,
Not,
but
not sure what point. Well, I'm not sure what point Felicia is making
yeah.
there. This one joint, I just want to make a detour for 1 second. Why do you not ever give Chief Keef his flowers when you mention influential artists? He's like the most influential on the new wave.
Chief Keef deserves his flowers. Chief Keef was I think we just never had. We might have had some moments where we're gonna say it, but it's like there's so many sections after the big guys that moved music in so many ways. Chief Keef, Future, Young Thug, Yachty, Uzi,
Baby.
XXX Tentacion. Would you say no? I wouldn't put Lil Baby moving anything in it. I think he's the culmination of the Young Thug, Future, but like street spitter space, right? So many people have moved things in different ways, and people who haven't even maybe changed music have brought things into music after. Like somebody who you probably wouldn't think that I have a lot of respect for is the baby. The baby's flow. People like to comment on his flow, saying it's the same thing every single time. But the baby's flow is unique. Nobody got
Yeah.
the baby's flow.
Yeah.
That is a very impressive thing to do as a rapper. Whereas me and other MCs, I could call out 7 rappers everybody sounds like,
Yeah.
and
No,
took a
you
flow
could
from.
you could change the pitch or the depth of his voice and keep that flow, and you'd be like, oh, that's the baby.
Exactly.
Right? And like
And it's
and like
his.
you right, and you could do that with like Megan, but like a lot of people like have different flows and you wouldn't recognize who it is, but like his flow is very particular to him and it creates his sort of trademark.
Yeah, and then like Chief Keef, just the entire sound and his what he implemented in his songwriting, like Love Sosa, like the melodies that mid area where you're not singing and you're not rapping, and it's giving you both of those things. Only some artists give you that, and Chief Keef's one of that. one of those artists where it's like I don't feel like you're singing. Where someone like Young Boy sometimes feels like that, but then he can get very big with his big, almost blues like melodic groans and moans and shit like that. So I can go all day about different artists and different spaces and the subsets of hip hop and what they implemented for their own spaces and what I appreciate from them. So
I don't
yes,
think
Chief
there's
Keef did a
I don't
lot.
think there's any reason why I would automatically not understand or like an under 30 Gen Z rapper. I mean, like, I don't see it as like I'm so disconnected that I can't, and look at it as me not understanding because Green likes it, a lot of you like it. So it can just be that I don't understand it, right? Because if I watched all the documentaries and maybe if I listened to it a ton more and knew different people, maybe then it would come home to me in a different way. This is all that goes into whether or not you like something. Um, but I
Good
don't,
taste and
man, I don't think
opinion.
it's like I don't think it's like I'm doomed to only like stuff that harkens back to I don't know what, like the hip hop that I
I
liked in
think
the
that's a
80s and
thing.
90s.
Honestly, I think that's a thing. I think it has to speak to you. And if you and hip hop is this era, it's gonna have to speak to that a little bit. I don't think you can just, it's gonna have to speak to something that you identify with. And that's what music and feeling music really is, unless you're looking at it in a different way from the aesthetics and songwriting issue, and then you
I mean,
appreciate things like that.
I don't yeah, I mean, I don't think there's a
Because they
I
was
don't think
getting
there's
on you. Let me say this: they was getting on you on our Boo Man video, on a Baby Keem video, because they were like, you didn't watch the whole documentary. You must not have, because you and this is important because of the story and the narrative that he's telling and all that. But what I would say in your defense is, if you've heard a million narratives before that are very similar, and we're talking about art, the narrative alone might not grab you. You know what I'm saying? It's like someone being in just someone having a similar story to a bunch of people that you know. It doesn't trigger you in a different way. But if you go in a different neighborhood in a different area and you bring that story, that neighborhood might look at you differently, and it's going to be more astonishing and uh than another way. So I'm not saying that his narrative is something that is common, but I'm saying that someone might could relate that to this other person, and then the music itself doesn't relate to you. So you're like, the story alone is not going to bring me in. It's got to be the story and the music's got to bring me in, which is an understandable thing if you're talking about your taste. But yeah, what are you laughing at?
Wow. Somebody said furry let Torre wander off like the solitary penguin. I don't even know what that means. Y'all are so fucking hard. It's crazy.
Look,
Um,
you got some people right there with you.
I mean, here's the thing is that I feel I feel I feel like I feel a strong desire to continue to understand hip hop from going back to the first moment of the first time hearing Rappers Delight and being like, wow. And like from that moment, wanting to see where the whole thing goes. And it goes beyond like and dislike into like, what is it? Right. So I would never want to be like, I don't like this modern hip hop. Like, that's a ridiculous statement. Like, I need to understand what it is. It doesn't need to move me the same way it moved me when I was in a club when I was 20 years old. But like, I want to understand, what does this artist and this album mean and represent in the development of this entire genre. And I love the movie that is the development of this genre over time. So I don't bemoan it growing and changing. I want to understand how it is growing and changing. Certainly not going to sit here and be like, back in my day, rappers rapped the whole verse.
we gave you 3 verses, but
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
I think that it's, yeah, I think you have that perspective, and that's a great thing to have too. And what's what I appreciate is like if you come from the beginning of this shit and then you're like giving a perspective on this shit right now, that should be respected and understood because you can see it from a different from a different
But
angle.
I don't think he's not a great rapper. He has gone in a
I just think it ain't
direction.
your taste, but
Yeah,
I
he's
do
gone
think
in a
there's
direction that's not work for me. But I'm not. At no point was I like, this is bad rapping. This is
I yeah,
bad
you can't
writing.
say that. Yeah,
It's
that's
good. He can rhyme. He could flow. He's a good rapper. This is not for me. I really didn't even want to, to keep going back. And sometimes you really do need to listen to something multiple times to let
to
it
catch
sink
it.
into
Yeah,
you. But
you got to go to the Baby Keem show in New York. We'll go. If you still don't like it after you go to the show,
it's really a thing that even sometimes you need the artist to perform the song in front of you, and then you're like,
I get
oh,
it.
now I understand the song. He or she did all the same lyrics and choruses that they did on the record,
Yeah,
but I didn't really get it until you stood in front of me and rapped it. And oh, now I see what that song really means.
I love I love a good show, especially people who care about their work. So me seeing that happened to me a bunch of times. Like I liked Mr. Morale. I went to see. They sent me over to see that whole run of Mr. Morale tour, and that made me like songs that I didn't like that much at a higher level.
But it's hard for me to meet a new song first in the wild, right? Like if I hear
Oh,
it
for real?
recorded and I kind of get my ears around it, right? Like I kind of understand it, but I'm like, I don't fully understand it. And then I see it performed, then I'm gonna quite often, if it's gonna click, I'm like, oh, now I see. But if I just go to the show and you do a new song, I'm kind of like, I can't really hear it, dog. Like I need to hear it crisp in the headphones at the studio to fully, you know what I mean, to fully see the whole conception. And then you do it to my face, and I'm like, okay, pause. And then I'm like, now I understand.
It depends on the song. Yo, he did an album listening. One thing too, I'm Not a Lyricist has this tone too. His speaking voice sounds like Andre 3000 to me. I don't know if you've heard it, but he talks sometimes and has a cadence when he's not in his higher pitch rapping voice that feels more like Kendricky. He has like this Andre 3000 tone, which there's two times where I thought it was Andre 3000 talking for like a sentence, and I was like, that's just wild. And his listening party. So I feel like he has this bag that he hasn't even fully got into where it's less frantic, less energetic, and could be dope. He has a lot. And I think he's doing all these different genres and styles, whether it's Don Toliver, Playboy
Hmm.
Cardi, Kendrick Lamar, or of it, and in his own version of all this space where you gotta also have to maybe be a fan of those things that he's tapping into to kind of like grasp it. But yeah, all in all,
What are your favorite songs?
I like track two, Good Flirts. I'm Not a Lyricist. Uh what
Casino,
else?
Good Flirts. I'm Not a Lyricist. Okay.
I like, yeah, that's probably my favorite
I
three.
mean, when you talk about the Tyler analogy, I
Oh,
do
there's one that sounds like Tyler produced it too. That one I like. I forgot what it's called. It's like
okay.
do rag something or something like that.
I do appreciate that this album is totally different than the last album. And it shows a lot of flexibility in him as an artist, and the potential to do something like what we see out of Kanye, out of Travis, out of fucking, who's the other one I was going to say, the other one you just said,
Tyler?
who has yeah, Tyler, who has a wide variety of things they can and will do as they move through their
Mhm.
career. Not everybody aspires to grow throughout their career. Not everybody can grow, right? And I love the artists who can and do grow. And he shows me, like, so like if Tyler puts out an album I don't like, I'm like, Thank you for that. I will check back in the next one. Right? I'm not off the train. I'm not like,
Hmm.
fuck you. You know, like I'm still rocking with you. Like, what's up? Like you missed that time, but I'm still a fan, right? Some people will strike so bad that you're like, so you don't understand. I'm not a fan anymore, right? You fell off. I'm done with you, right? Like, you forgot how to rap. You forgot how to pick beats. I'm done with you. Some people, you tried something. You did your big one, right? Like you didn't hit for me. If I don't like the next, I didn't really love the last Tyler. I don't care. I will still be there day one for the next one.
Yeah,
And
day one.
that I didn't love or like this Keem album, I will still be there to check out his next album because I appreciate the way his mind works, even if we're not perfectly aligned this time.
Yeah, I think that's such a valid space to be in because I think he's not at the level of where he's making the music that will also mean something to you. I think he has that ability where it's like doesn't matter if you're a baby or an old head or what your taste is, that he's going to be able to make those like slaps, just like the artists that we put out. So yeah, my favorite Keem album or project in general so far, just like you said, I'm tuned in. I'm tapped in, tuned in. I want to see. I'm probably gonna go to a show. Probably gonna go to his DC show and see what it feels like.
Alicia keeps saying, why does there have to be a
Pause.
certain order to the songs?
Oh
Whatever
yeah, someone
order
said that. That's
the
called
artist,
sequencing. Let me explain
right?
this. This is called sequencing. This is a lost art. When you're creating a body of work or an album, there's something called sequencing where you are telling a narrative either actual conceptually or just sonically. It's taking you through the emotions. Sequencing matters when you create an album. That's the art of the
Do you
album.
do
If
you
it
think
was
that
not the art of the album, you could just make playlists and random things
well,
on a
do
project.
you think that given, let's say, 10 songs, that they could be sequenced wrong to where you're like, I would
Yes,
like that album better if you had sequenced it in a different order?
I used to do that shit when we burning CDs era. I'd be like, I don't like how this should be here, and I'd reburn it the way that I think makes sense.
And that would have a material difference on your experience of the album, the
Yeah, or
different
I'd take
sequence.
out songs that are trash.
Well, that's different. Editing out shit you don't like. But I mean like 10 songs you like on an album like Off the Wall or Illmatic, where we like every song. Did you think that changing the order, like I think she's trying to trigger that you were like, the order of the songs is wrong. And
I didn't say that the order of the songs was wrong. So if we go back to what I said, what I was saying is that it trails off at the end, and I think that there's a cohesion issue. Cohesion isn't about order. I said cohesion, that the way that the narrative and concept goes together, it's like it could have hit harder. It could have hit harder with how the album worked. That's not about how he placed and ordered his songs. It's about how the whole album and songs were crafted in the first place. So that's a different thing with the whole casino theme, mood, and narrative. But because I mean the track order is the track order for what he is. I wasn't saying that he has a wrong track order, but I'm trying to remember, there was an album, G Dep, which is a good album. G Dep's
whoa,
first album.
bad boy.
Yeah, G Dep's album. He
Hey,
has some
bad.
amazing songs. I reordered that album because I thought like Special Delivery was in the wrong place. And I remember that I reordered that album the way that I wanted to listen to the album, and that was my shit. But that's me. That's my taste and what I want from some shit. But if something's telling a story from beginning to the end, and that's what it is, and I don't like a song, I'm not like, oh, the order should have been different. That's what this was trying to do. You know what I'm saying? But if you
So
don't have an intention, and I can hear that, and it's just jumbled all around, I'm like, this shit is trash.
okay. Um
And well, let me clarify that one more time. People order albums now because of streaming. So they're like, this is the most streamed song. Let's put this at the top of the project. They're trying to get those songs at the top for that reason. That has nothing to do with art and sequencing. So if you're just putting the top played songs at the top because you want to keep it get those things to get more streams, that's not good. You're just
Okay.
doing something for commerce, really.
A bunch of people have asked about on the
On the
radar.
radar. We'll do
Yeah.
our own video because we're about to bounce right now. So we're gonna do a whole video on the radar and how it's basically the new XXL freestyle, and we'll talk about it. We'll do that tomorrow for y'all. Also, what was the other thing? Oh yeah, they were talking about the video that just came out. Keem just dropped a video. We can't really put it on here because we ain't trying to get flagged. So we'll do a whole nother video of us watching that. Other than that, is there any chats that we want to talk? Yes, this guy right here. Sequencing is important. Yes, we watched the rap cipher as we said. This is exactly what I said right here.
Oh my God. Just keep pulling up all the comments that agree with you. That's fun.
Yeah. Now I forgot now I gotta pull up the comments that
pull up some comments that say Green. See, you be all up in the comments. Pull up some comments that say Green, you crazy. You out of your fucking mind.
I do that all the time. Somebody talks shit about me and I post it. Somebody talks to me in chat to make Torre feel good. You want to feel good, say some shit about me, and I'll just post it up there so everybody can see, so I can get some hate.
You're asking for it.
Because they love me, so I can't. Wow. They love me so much.
Wow.
The chat loves me so much, so it's just hard.
Wow. Okay, that's how we're living there. Yeah, go ahead.
See, look at this. Green, you crazy. Drop it.
That's not. That was not.
This is
we saw the other one that you posted for a second.
What other one?
Torre's hilarious. Green. That was just...
This is their best attempts. Here we go. Here's this. This is the best I got for you. We love both. That's the best I got for you.
No,
like nobody.
No, that's not what we're looking for.
When did you start loving the color green? But anyways, Torre got to go. I don't want to keep him. He got big things to do. He got to go on CNN. He got to do so many things. So we're gonna let him.
I have a meeting.
You got a meeting? Yeah.
When did you start loving the color green? Oh my
God. Here it goes. Here's one for Toure's a real journalist.
This one right here. They're right here. Green is wrong. Green is wrong. No, you're
Where?
welcome.
I don't see it.
Green is wrong. James Francis, stop acting like you don't see it, nigga.
I don't see it. You made
right
that
there.
up.
James Francis, 3:37 p.m. Green is wrong.
3:37. You got the timestamp?
I mean, I gotta have receipts with you because you're like, oh, I don't see it. Oh my God. There you go. There you go. There you go. Thank you, James.
All right, now we out. Now
wait,
you're being
hold on. There's a super chat.
Oh, there's a super chat. I didn't see it. Oh, super chat. Super chat. Read that out.
Podcast is sick. Love Torre's journalism. Green is also there. Thank you for talking Keith in this platform. LOL. Thank you.
Green is also present.
Green is also present.
$1 million in the bank.